Welcome to today's discussion. We'll start in about a minute.
We're talking strategic buyers, so you're,
welcome everybody to today's discussion. We're going to start in about 30 seconds. Allow a bit more time for people to join the room.
I talked to Steven.
And I'm just while we're waiting for more people to enter the room, I'm in a public place, so I apologize for the background noise. If you pick up on other people's conversations, apologize for that, but we'll start in a few seconds. Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's discussion recognizing International Women's Day. We're fortunate today to be joined by 10 founders or co-founders of early stage technology companies that have some kind of innovation that is addressing water or wastewater challenges. Mazarine had this idea a couple months ago and started talking with Abby Davey from H2O Global News. And we put together a list of 60 plus women who are founders of technology companies that are addressing some aspect of water, wastewater. Today's discussion is just technology. Of course, there's a lot of women who work in engineering firms, government, investment community, policy, nonprofits. Today, we're just focusing on founders who have started a company with some sort of hardware, software solution that's addressing some aspect of water, wastewater. So that's the origin of today's discussion. The format will be 80 minutes of interviews with the 10 founders. And you're welcome to put questions in the chat function on this on Zoom. Abby, a little bit of introduction yourself.
Hi, everyone here. I'm Abby Davey. I run H2O Global News. It's a platform for everybody in this industry, the business of water, to share their news, their innovations and their technologies. And I'm very grateful to be a moderator and to be here with all these fantastic women.
Great, thanks. So we're just going to jump right into it. If you're interested in who Mazarine is or who H2O Global News is, you're welcome to reach out to Abby or myself. Or we're just going to jump right into it. And I'm going to interview 5 of today's featured participants, and Abby will interview the other 5. We're going to start with Anoa. Anoa, tell us a little bit about who you are, what your background is, and how you got into this space.
So first of all, thank you very much for having me here today, Abby and John. My name is Anoa Alete, and I am the co-founder and chairman of Woon Planet. And at Woon Planet, we apply artificial intelligence to the water sector. As an engineer, my passion is to solve problems. And the water sector is facing now 2 major challenges. The first one is the appearance of new pollutants, and the second one is the effects of climate change. There is an increasing number of drought and flood events in Europe. We have seen last summer the floods in Germany, and also, well, the California drought is very well known. Chile is facing a drought. 72% of the country is facing a drought. So there's a lot to do, and digitalization can help a lot.
Great. And so where are you from? Where are you right now? Where are you based? And what is your background prior to jumping into this?
Okay, I'm from Spain, from San Sebastian. It's a very beautiful city. I recommend you to visit in the Basque Country, a region very green. It rains a lot. And we have a very good gastronomy. The best restaurants in Spain are in the Basque Country.
Yeah, San Sebastian's known for Michelin star restaurants. I think there's more Michelin star restaurants per capita than anyone else in the world. So I know what is Bunt Planet? Tell me a little bit about the offering and who the customers are and what problems you're solving.
Okay. So, well, I want just to introduce that the water sector is facing like a perfect storm. On one hand, the water consumption is growing at a rate of 1% because everybody needs more water and we are more population in the world. And on the other hand, water losses are increasing. The amount of water lost is almost 3 times the water was lost 15 years ago. So this is because the infrastructure is aging. So and adding to this, there is a low level of digitalization in the sector because traditionally it has been far behind the energy sector, for example. And at Wound Planet, we have created Wound Brain, which is an ecosystem of software applications. One is like a Google Maps for leaks. It's a very easy way to explain it. Another one helps to determine which water meters are not measuring well and should be replaced. We can also determine which are the end users of water. For example, if the end user is using the shower, the washing machine, the faucet. We can also detect blockages and infiltrations in the wastewater network. We also help with our tools to homogenize the levels of chlorine in the network. We also offer a digital twin in order to be able to simulate different scenarios and know, for example, if there is a cut in the network, which users are affected. And we can also warn end users if they are having an abnormal usage of water compared to their peers. So summing up and to sum up, we aim to help water utilities be more resilient and efficient.
Got it. Understand. Well, thanks for that introduction. Impressive offering that you're bringing to market. Well, just briefly, what is your next milestone in 2022, 2023? Are you expanding internationally? Are you raising money? What's sort of on your desk right now?
Well, we are continuing well, our goal is to continue growing at the same pace we grew last year. It was impressive, and we want to expand to new markets. For example, the US is one of them. We are not still not in the US, and in the coming year we are going to raise funding. So we have a perfect plan of different areas where we are not going to be bored for sure.
Great, thanks, Ainhoa. I appreciate it. Abby, who's next?
So I have the pleasure of interviewing Amanda Sinclair. I would love to hear from yourself, and can you briefly introduce yourself to the group?
Yep. So like Abby mentioned, my name is Amanda. I'm one of the co-founders of Vapor. A little bit about myself. My background is civil environmental engineering. So where I grew up in Australia, that's mainly just water engineering, really. So yeah, from Australia, but I'm actually living here in Bristol in the southwest of England at the moment, because there's just lots more older and greater numbers of sewers here in the UK by comparison to Australia. So we started the company about 4 years ago in Sydney, and yeah, have expanded to New Zealand and over here in the UK as well. And when I say we, I mean my other co-founder, Michelle, who's also an engineer. So yeah, there's a duo of us, which is cool.
I love that you work as a duo, 2 female co-founders. That's amazing, and I'd love to hear more about the UK. I'm also from the UK, and the aging sewer system here is a slight problem. So you're in the right place. But tell me, what is your company trying to achieve, and what problems are you solving?
Yeah, so something really hot in the press at the moment, particularly in the UK, and I think probably globally, is just the pollution of natural waterways, and making streams swimmable, beaches swimmable, after storm events, stuff like that. So yeah, things that Ainhoa even mentioned in terms of blockages in sewers and the deterioration of sewer pipes. So what most water utilities and authorities will do, and I'm sure everyone on the call here is well aware of this, is put cameras down pipes to capture the visual condition, internal condition of the pipe. All of that footage is reviewed manually at the moment. So to the point, I actually used to work at a water utility and get paid 8 hours a day to just watch videos of the insides of pipes. So it's a fun job, and I'm sure I can see a couple of heads nodding, so it's not just me. And so what we do is apply deep learning directly to the video footage, so and identify what defects and the location and what type of defects rapidly from the inspection footage. So kind of like Face ID for sewer defects.
Wow. Wow, that is incredible. And you say you're focusing your energies right now in Australia, New Zealand, and here in the UK. Do you have plans to expand?
Yeah, big time. So yeah, the sewer pipes are everywhere. So and the only current way to process the footage is manual. So the next kind of cab off the rank is the mighty US market for us. Huge opportunity there. They've got millions and millions of miles of sewers. Yeah, like I said, the problem's no different. Same logistics, same supply chain issues, same pollution of clean waterways. So yeah, that's kind of next milestone for us, which is really exciting.
That is extremely exciting. I love how you related it to Face ID. That's a really good way of a non-techie person in the water industry to say, yeah, I get that. So
yeah,
going from the millions of miles of sewer pipes, what's your miles? What's your next milestones in the coming year or so?
Yeah, so largely around that expansion to the US. So having kind of being here in the UK gives us, compared to the Australian time zone, unprecedented access to kind of the US market, which is really cool, because from Australia, time zones are a bit challenging. So yeah, we're using this opportunity to reach over to the US and do a more formal market entry later this year. Like I know we're also raising this year, raising now, in fact, and just about to close our round, which is really exciting. Bringing on board some really cool people into our team to help us with distributing globally. So watch this space.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, and congratulations on all you've achieved so far. And I'm now going to pass it back over to John.
Thanks, Abby. Thanks, Amanda. I'm going to keep everyone on their toes here, so I'm going to move it around a little bit and surprise somebody to keep everybody on their toes. Let's go to Jennifer Kim. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Jennifer Kim. I'm a graduate from UCLA, and I have over 20 years of experience in software development. I live here in Fresno, California. It's the 5th largest city in California. And this is after having lived in some of the most major cities in the United States and international. So it was coming back to a small town, and my 2 daughters and I kind of experienced some of the water struggles that there are in these smaller, more marginalized communities. So it inspired me to kind of walk away from doing major software projects to really focusing on some of the challenges these smaller communities are having.
And your company's SWAN Water. Tell everybody how to pronounce it, and then what is the business you're in? What problems are you solving?
Yeah, so SWAN Water, we've through my experiences with working with various platforms, we took technology from different sectors and put it together because we discovered that water is incredibly inequitable here in California. So you'll have big systems in San Francisco with the best technology and the best water engineers. And a few miles away, you'll have these small communities that are still run on well water. So what we did was we took different technologies from different places, put it together so that we can help these smaller communities bridge this technology gap that they have and they can't afford. So what the technology does is we use IoT to constantly monitor water because there are some cities where the water is very dangerous, like children cannot drink the water. It's so dangerous. So what they do now is they send their water samples to the lab every week, and they don't get their samples back for 2 weeks. So the water operator has no idea what's going on with their water situation. Kids can't even drink the water because he finds it too dangerous. So what our system does is we constantly monitor the water, and he's able to check the quality of the water every 5 seconds on his phone or computer or any mobile device, so that he can make better decisions. So that's really the goal of this company, is to enable these small water operators to have the data, to have good data, to be able to make better decisions for their community.
Love the vision. As anybody who knows me knows that we're very passionate about helping overlooked communities and small, medium-sized communities out there with their water-related challenges. Jennifer, what's your next milestone, like in 2022, 2023? Where are you taking this business?
Yeah, so 2022 is very exciting because we are actually open sourcing a part of our software and allowing anyone to use it. And we're also adding a feature where even smaller communities internationally can create carbon credits based on the way they clean their water. So they're able to monetize on better decisions. And we're gonna keep that an open source application. So anyone anywhere can use it. We have some big clients onboarded for that as well. I also have a fund for women, a grant fund. And I am so proud to say that one of the platforms we build on has given me a fund to give out grants to enable women to build whatever they need and to be able to reach their technology goals. Because one thing, especially for me, it's very hard to fundraise as a woman. And I'm so proud to say that I'm able to help women out to at least get started and get their careers going.
Great, thanks, Jen. Appreciate that introduction, and great job on all the work you're doing. And if people have questions and they want to connect with Jen, do you go by Jen or Jennifer? I feel like it was Jen, or do you prefer? Cool. Well, thanks for that introduction, Jen. And if anybody has any questions or wants to connect with anybody on this discussion, please reach out to Abby or myself. Just a quick reset. Since we're 18 minutes into this discussion, we're interviewing 10 founders and co-founders of technology companies who have some kind of innovation, as we heard from Anoa and Carol, or sorry, who was the person? Amanda and Jen. We still have 7 to go. So back to Abby for the next one.
Excellent. Well, I am going to move on to Paige Peters. I'm mixing it up. Tell me briefly about you and what inspired you to get into this industry.
Oh, that's such a heavy one for 8 minutes, man. Abby with the hard hitters. So I'm Paige Peters, founder and CEO and lead engineer. Wear many hats within Rapid Radicals Technology. I'm also a dog mom. I feel like that's an important thing to know to get to know me as a person. I also have to say that because we might be getting a delivery and she might start barking. So, just so you know, I'm here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I'm working on actually my 3rd civil environmental engineering degree. I didn't think I would continue on to get more, but I started Rapid Radicals to commercialize my master's research in high rate wastewater treatment, and it went on to be also my dissertation project. So the thing that brought me to be an entrepreneur was essentially my graduate studies, which is incredible, but the kind of happy accident of sorts that came to me with the company. I started becoming an engineer, or I went to engineering school because I wanted to affect change. I did a lot of work with Engineers Without Borders. And I honestly started feeling like, as much as I loved the international development work we were doing, that there's still so much work to do here in the States on our systems. And I'm hearing all this conversation about, these cities that we have a failing aging infrastructure. And so the ability to work on a project that is close to home, we're solving problems here in Milwaukee, felt like a real gift to be able to take this passion that I have for all this engineering work that I do in water, and really apply it right here in my own backyard.
That's incredible. And so your business, Rapid Radicals, what's its mission? What do you do? What's that impact?
So Rapid Radicals is commercializing a high rate wastewater treatment technology that is also can be applied in a decentralized, as a decentralized water system. And our goal has really been to eliminate sewer overflows caused by storm events. So we started this technology and started this system really looking at combined sewer systems where we have both sanitary and wastewater running in the same, or sanitary and stormwater running in the same pipe. And then these storm events occur, all exacerbated by climate change. And all this aging infrastructure becomes overburdened, really resulting in sewer overflows, which is a problem. But a bigger issue is really basement backups. So we started working with the sewage district here in Milwaukee to help them meet their goal of zero overflows and zero basement backups during storm events with Marquette University, which is where the technology started, as I said, during my master's. And now we have a pilot system in process, and the company is now getting a chance to not just become a company that commercializes this technology that essentially helps utilities build resiliency and improve water quality and public health, but also education and starting to make people feel more comfortable talking about infrastructure and these big problems that for a really long time we feel really detached from, but we can't be anymore. So we're excited to start interacting more with the public as Rapid Radicals, the company, not just the technology that we're developing.
That's fantastic. And it's amazing to be able to have an impact on your doorstep. I think that way you can really reach and feel to see that impact directly. But do you have plans to expand that further than the doorstep? What's that next vision, that next milestone?
So for our big next milestone, we just received a $1 million National Science Foundation grant, which is really exciting to continue piloting. So we have a pilot system right now, like I said, in Milwaukee, and we're going to continue expanding, building a new system, a bigger system, kind of keeping with this goal of meeting Clean Water Act permit requirements in less than 30 minutes in the Great Lakes region. So we have a partnership upcoming with Great Lakes Water Authority in Detroit. And it's really great that to have this impact in this community means that we get to work within the whole Great Lakes region. So that's a big thing to tackle. But we've been talking a lot about international markets, and these problems are truly global. So our plans coming up are to continue building our pilot, making it bigger, making it more automated. I love learning about all this stuff people are doing because I see all these opportunities for collaboration, which is exciting. And we're also hiring this year, which is really cool. I get to take off some of my hats and put them on other people.
I can't take this grin off my face because I'm just so inspired by everyone here. Well done on your progress, just amazing. And let's go over to John for the next incredible.
Paige, Paige, what does Rapid Radicals mean, just in a sentence or two?
So our technology is advanced oxidation, where we form radicals that are the strongest oxidant known to science. So the faster you produce, the more you produce them, the better your treatment and the smaller your footprint. So we rapidly produce hydroxyl radicals.
That's rad. We're going to go with Mina. How did you get to where you are now? Who are you as a person? And then you can get to the company. The second question.
Awesome. Well, first off, thank you for having me over here. I really appreciate the opportunity, and doing this on Women's Day is just really special. Now, I'm John, as you asked. I was just thinking, as all the entrepreneurs were talking, I'm just a girl who grew up in India, and just like a million or billion other Indians who are just used to kind of the issues with water and have just grown up seeing it. It's just been very subtle. And, I'm an engineer by education, had multiple degrees in engineering, very similar to Jen, landed up spending about 16 years of my career more in infrastructure and data centers, and completely different lifestyle than kind of being indulged in water. But the core passion of wanting to do something where technology really improves the lives of people and seeding an idea that can massively enhance the impact of what day-to-day challenges are, and especially leaving something for future generations. That was something kind of very core to what I wanted to really leave as a legacy or make a difference or contribute. And I think that was very strong in terms of parting ways from corporate Silicon Valley roles and kind of really diving into something as difficult as water. And so Ketos was founded as the beginnings of all of that amalgamation of technology and passion coming in to make a difference in the world in 2015.
But Mina, aren't there a lot of incumbents working on testing and monitoring of water quality? What are you bringing that's new to the new to the industry? What's the problem and how?
Very much so. And I mean, water is such a, legacy market. There's so much ancient ingenuity. There's a lot of different types of, solutions. And Jen mentioned this about, your status quo is labs. If you really want accurate, precise data, you've always typically gone to labs. And you don't understand heavy metals and water even today. Understanding iron and mercury and zinc and really pollutants that we're talking about, PFAS and forever chemicals, these are still not detectable. It's very easy to get lost in instrumentation and think about water quality, but water is such a complex component that not realizing how many things to monitor and how do you monitor and how do you make it cost prohibitive. So it is right now, everything is really, really expensive when you think about instrumentation. So what Kitos has done is we've built a robotic solution, bringing in material science, data science, and automation so that you have a system that is working for you 24/7 without your resources, water operators, not having to do any labor. So this is 100% automated. It tells you over 30 parameters. It's able to tell you at part per billion precision, so you can act on chemical treatment, discharge, process control. And we fundamentally work in industrial, agriculture, as well as municipalities. So lots of types.
And are you selling it as a capital equipment or subscription, or what's the business model here?
Yeah, that was another important key part to our decision-making, John, is one, philosophy-wise, we wanted to build a solution that really provides customers data as a service. It takes them, out of this cycle of having to physically purchase. I have to go purchase a chlorine analyzer today. Tomorrow I have to go purchase a nitrate analyzer, and really making it cumbersome for water operators suddenly to become technologists overnight. So our goal was fundamentally, how do you really ease the adoption, which is one of the toughest problems for all of us together. And that has been, let's take the complexity. Let's not try to make the operator the engineer. Let's us as technologists do that part and let them do what they do best, as being the water expert. So it's a 100% service model, $0 CapEx, so $0 initial investment from an adoption perspective, really gets them comfortable to understand the solution, leverage it, learn from it. And then we provide it as a full software stack so they can integrate with any platforms they have already in place, so it doesn't kind of pigeonhole you.
How many communities are benefiting from your innovation today? Is it like 20 or 30, or is it like 300?
I would say kind of right in between, but we are deployed significantly in the US. We've also been working with several industrial clients, and we're now recently deployed in Brazil, Canada. In the next 90 days, we see ourselves getting deployed between Peru, Israel, New Zealand. So we're growing quite actively, both on the international front as well as in the United States. So I think for us, 2022 is just the scratching the surface of this milestone of really growing and scaling, and especially as both food processing plants to manufacturing to oil and gas and mining realize the need for how quickly they need to understand water discharge and water reuse and be much more net zero positive. You're seeing that momentum change.
Great. Well, thanks. Congrats on all your success, Mina. What does Kitos mean, by the way?
It's like the logo. It's orcas. So I wanted to pull something out of the Greek mythology, and it's a cetaceous animal. I was like, what better creature, to really be proud and celebrate than the orcas. So that's what Kitos means.
And back to you, I know. What is Bunt Planet? What does that mean?
Bunt means in German colorful.
Colorful planet. I like that. It's cool. Cool sounding name. Back to you, Abby.
Excellent. I'm going to move on to Erica now, please. Erica, can you give us a little brief about yourself?
Sure. So I am Erica Schwartz-Taylor. I'm with ECO. And my background, I'm a biologist. And so my background for my master's For example, my research was creating molecular probes that we could use to detect harmful algae. So, if any of you have heard of red tides, right, specifically is what I worked on the East Coast. But these molecular markers really allowed us to take water samples and do a quick probe just looking for DNA to see, is there DNA of toxic algae or normal algae, and if there was toxic algae present, then we could shut down, shellfish beds and things like that to make sure people didn't ingest any toxins that shellfish could have filter fed. My PhD is in plant biology and in genomics and genome evolution specifically. And so after I graduated from doing that, I really missed the environmental aspect of research that was really clear cut as far as the implications and the applications of what you could do. So I really wanted to marry using next gen technology, but applying it to an environmental application. And so that's kind of how, we formed ECO, was by merging those two things.
Amazing. And where are you in the world right now?
Yes, I was actually born and raised in Texas, and I am in Austin, Texas right now. So I moved around a little bit. So I actually I did some of my graduate work in North Carolina and then came back to UT Austin for my PhD. But yeah.
Amazing. And looking at all of the things that you are looking to achieve, you're in the right sector. It's you're here, but what brought you here? Your degrees in the plant side. You moved into this specific area. What inspired you? What got you to this point?
As far as what the company is concerned. So this really, we have in general molecular monitoring, so looking for DNA in the water of organisms. Texas Parks and Wildlife, US Fish and Wildlife, these types of entities, they really are still using pretty basic rudimentary technology. And so being able to apply next gen things, we can do more, we can be more informative. So our main thing is we really want to, give them early detection for things like invasive species, right? So our first species that we really focused on was zebra mussels, because those can have such large effects on not only, water quality, but your water community structure and also infrastructure. It has a huge, they can really clog up pipes and ruin a lot of things. So really being able to take a molecule that can give us more information. So instead of DNA, for example, we're using RNA. If you want to learn more about it, I will tell you all about the central dogma of molecular biology. But we can tell more about what's currently in the water, right? So what's alive, what's dead. And so that way we give a more real-time, look for people like Texas Parks and Wildlife, like, are there zebra mussels currently present? Or did a dead one just fall off of somebody's boat, right? We can give them information that they can then make management decisions on. And especially in this, as far as location, also, zebra mussels have been, spreading from the Great Lakes down and out in the United States since the 80s. And, they hit Texas, I think around 2009. And they continue to spread throughout the state. So yeah, it's been a good location geographically also for that kind of work. Yeah.
You say you have tech which helps you achieve this.
Mm-hmm.
Does it provide real-time data?
Yes, it can. We're near real time. So as many of you have already mentioned, we are a lab. So we have lab work to do, but what's really nice is we also have a piece of technology that can be deployed at any site. And one thing that's tricky about using this, RNA molecules, it breaks down in the environment very quickly. So we have a piece of technology too. We have a permanent kind of installation, but also a handheld one where we can go sample the water, lots of it. And it also preserves that RNA molecule at the same time. So we can probe it then to let you know what's alive, what's dead in your water. But we can also go back and probe that sample at any time if you want a time lapse, of information for what's been in the water, and look for patterns in that way also.
So what's the next steps for your company? Where do you see yourself going in the next few years?
Yes, so we're at a pretty big inflection point right now. So we are definitely looking for, raising funds. I only mentioned zebra mussels, but we are actively looking for lots of things. So we're also involved in harmful algal blooms in a project in the Great Lakes. We're looking to expand into California and New York. We're also looking to expand into even, monitoring for endangered species or informing like restoration projects and things like that. So there's a lot. There are a lot of, states we can expand into, lots of different organisms that we can help monitor. And then, we also have a partnership with another company who really looks at the microbiome. So only the bacteria and archaea that are in ecosystems, as opposed to we focus more on eukaryotes. Again, I love talking about diversity. So if anybody wants to talk more, I'll give you a rundown.
Probably could talk to you all day about this, but just thank you so much for doing what is such vital work. And I will hand back over to John for the next panelist.
Thanks. Carol, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Carol Maxwell. I am my kind of training in school was in biology and chemistry and things like that. And actually, and this is a long time ago, I think I'm the oldest person here. But after I got to grad school, I was going to get a PhD. I really discovered that I didn't want to do that. It wasn't as much fun as I thought it was going to be. And so I had to figure out what to do. And I kind of pivoted and went and got an MBA instead, because I thought, well, if I'm not going to be a scientist, I've got to do something else. And that was it. And over about 25 or 30 years, I worked in advertising and marketing for a lot of companies, from Eli Lilly to Bank of America and Pacific Bell, and did a lot of different diverse kinds of marketing platforms. And then I moved from California to the East because of family issues. And I met a young guy and his name is Brent Salina, and he's the co-founder of Microorganic. And he had been trying to scale up, or not scale up, he had been trying to really understand a technology that was really just in academia. It was technology that had not really gone out into the marketplace. And he is a very stubborn person. And so he was very interested, and he had started kind of playing around with the technology in his apartment, which I don't recommend. But in any event, once, we kind of decided that we had enough in common in terms of what we wanted to be able to do, we just kind of went forward. And
so, Carol, thanks for that
yes,
background. So, what is the problem you're solving, and what is your innovation? What's the IP?
So, in today's world, since about 1914, there's a core process for treating wastewater, and basically, what happens is that you blow air into the water, and microbes in the wastewater are chewing up the organic material that can be dangerous. And people used to get all kinds of diseases all the time because they didn't have that treatment. So if you blow a lot of air into the water, it breaks down the organic waste and it doesn't foul Lake Erie or places that used to happen. Now, the thing about it is that it works quite well, but it has some major drawbacks. First of all, it's extremely energy intensive, and for a plant, it can use up to 50 to 80% of their total energy use. And there are now more technologies now than when we started that are more energy efficient, but it's still kind of a low bar. The other thing about this aspect of wastewater treatment is that it doesn't really have any intelligence to it. And so somebody else mentioned earlier, gee, you have to go and send out tests and then you get them back like 8 days later. So you're always looking in your rearview mirror about how's it going in a plant. And so our technology is quite a departure because we don't blow air into the wastewater. We make microbial fuel cells. They have to be dry on the inside, and it's an electrochemical process, and it stabilizes the system, reduces the BOD, and it saves about anywhere from 85 to 90% of the energy use that would normally be involved in that process. And in addition to that, because we're culturing microbes in the system, while the treatment is happening, the microbes are depositing electrons onto the circuits. And so that brings you both clean DC power and process intelligence. And so you would know whether or not you have a biological problem, which can sometimes happen, not so much in municipal waste, but our company's focused more on industrial waste at this point. So, there's a lot of additional things that come to the table beyond just the energy savings.
Yep. And so Carol, what in 2022, 2023, what can we expect from microorganic? We're, a year from now, what are some announcements we can expect?
Yeah, so we've done a lot of pilots. We're doing 2 big pilots this year with Anheuser-Busch and Xylem. And so we're looking to have a final commercial product by the end of this year. We've done a lot of piloting, a lot of looking at different kinds of designs, and we've been kind of refining that now. And this is a modular solution. Our Viva module is she's a big girl. She's about 5 feet and she weighs about 700 pounds. So it's, but it's a modular system. So, we designed it so that you didn't have to do what happens currently in wastewater treatment, which is everything's bolted to the bottom of a tank. And it's very hard to deal with if you have a problem or something. So we did this so that there was more focus on being able to use it in different ways.
Got it. Well, that's an impressive innovation, and we're looking forward to some announcements over the next year with these big corporate partners. And great job on all the success so far. Abby, back to you.
I am going to move on to Julie now. Julie, tell us a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to be here.
Sure, thank you. Really excited to be here. My name is Julie Bliss Mullen. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Clarity. Also a mom of 2. I have a daughter and a son, just a 5-month-old son. So life is busy. By training, I have a degree in environmental policy and environmental engineering. So I sort of come at things on both ends. When I was in undergrad, I spent quite a amount of time in Guatemala with Engineers Without Borders. And, when I was down there, we were really trying to figure out what to do to solve a lot of their health problems. And it all came down to water in the end. And so, we really worked with the community to design systems and optimize essentially the roof, right? So it's really the roof, it's a roof catchment system that we ended up designing. And so very long story short, I came back to my undergrad and was just totally decided I wanted to focus my career in water quality. That's when I decided to pick up a degree in engineering. Meanwhile, I ended up working for the US EPA for a couple of years in drinking water. And this was say right around 2010 when PFAS, so we focus on PFAS, but PFAS were called PFCs, and so I learned a whole lot about PFAS and about the problems, and I certainly didn't understand the problems back then, but I did understand it was a problem. So then worked for the EPA for a couple of years, pursued a PhD focusing in innovative water treatment technologies for the removal of PFAS and other types of contaminants, and then I founded Clarity.
And tell us about our Clarity and what problems you're trying to solve.
Sure. So we develop and deploy proprietary and modular electrochemical water treatment systems for the destruction of various types of contaminants. I said PFAS, also for nitrogen-based compounds like ammonia and TKN. We've got a couple projects in cyanide right now. Actually deployed our first project. So multi-reactor system for the destruction of cyanide, which is really exciting. We're wrapping up the commissioning process right now, which is so cool. Problem we're solving. So let's talk about PFAS, because that's really kind of where the heavy hitter is, and where we're making the most progress. So the biggest problem here is concentrated PFAS, and what we're trying to do is we're destroying PFAS on site. Whether it's at landfill leachate, at landfills treating the leachate, at centralized waste treatment facilities and treating the leachate there. Also have a lot of projects with AFFF and other types of really concentrated PFAS. Really what we're doing is we're trying to get ahead of the regulations, and they're moving 1 million miles a minute. There's a lot of stuff going on in Maine and Michigan at the regulation of discharge of wastewater in general with PFAS. And so things are moving 1 million miles a minute, and we're coming in and we're solving those problems from a cost standpoint. We're working with one of our customers. They're paying, let's call it about $40 per 1,000 gallons. We're coming in at $6, right? It's just because the PFAS is just going right through that activated carbon. They have to replace it every other day. And so this is not just a problem from a regulatory standpoint because they're getting nailed from these impeding regulations, but it's also a problem from an economic standpoint, and we're hitting both right in the head.
That is, I can see how excited you are about what you are trying to achieve, and to have a solution that helps people financially as well as actually solving a problem is music to everybody's ears. So what's taking what you've achieved so far? What's next?
Yeah, sure. So actually, oh my gosh, knock on wood, it's gotten changed a couple times, but Friday we're closing in on a financing round. So there'll be hopefully a big press release coming this week. Oh my gosh, fingers crossed.
I'll be looking out for it.
Yeah. So with that, what are we using the money for? Well, we're expanding the team. We're doubling the team, in fact, and we're deploying. We're finishing up a commissioning process, which we're doing right now, and then we are deploying at least 2 other on-site systems for PFAS, which is really, really exciting. Just to prove the technology and the go-to-market and the business model.
That's incredible, absolutely incredible, and thank you so much. It's great to have you here and keep doing such great work.
Thank you.
Julie, I have a question for you, Julie.
Sure.
Kind of the elephant in the room around PFAS is the regulatory issue, whether it's Europe, North America, Asia. Mm-hmm. Everyone knows it's a problem. Everyone's concerned with it, but no really has to do anything about it today from a regulatory perspective. What are your thoughts on regulatory tightening in the next year or two on PFAS? How do you see that?
Yeah. So I mean, a couple months ago, I would have said the states are taking the lead. And I would still say that the states, I mean, if you look at Maine, Maine is trying to Michigan has already done this, and they've regulated PFAS from on discharge, but Maine's doing this as well. So it's coming from a state side, but federal side, right? So Biden's put $10 billion toward the remediation and monitoring of PFAS, and we are. I mean, not lightly, but we are having a demand issue right now with trying to address PFAS problems across the industry, especially in waste and industrial waste. So I think the PFAS regulations are coming. I wouldn't even say they're here. And we're seeing it firsthand. Just the largest landfill in New England just contacted us yesterday to pilot. So I mean, it's coming, and everybody knows it.
Mina, does your company offer any solutions for PFAS monitoring?
Yeah, right now we're actively in that process, John, especially because that's kind of like the one that's going up. But we've gotten pretty heavy hit on more of like selenium and molybdenum and other byproducts, as well as, especially because of the electric vehicle, battery mining, that's also kicking up a bunch of unwanted compounds that have been of high concern. So yeah, similar to Julie, looking for these.
One of our objectives of this roundtable today was to catalyze more connections between the featured participants here. And so we've got the DX with Mina, and we've got the RX with Julie.
Yeah.
So hopefully over the coming months, there can be more collaboration amongst the featured participants. That's one of our hoped outcomes.
Absolutely. I've already started taking notes. I'm like, all right, Julie.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Well,
That's
I mean, now that we're almost all the way through this, I can already connect amongst all of you about, oh, you should talk to so-and-so, so-and-so. And some of you operate in man-made infrastructure underneath roads, like Amanda. And some of you, like Erica with EQO, operate in aquatic ecosystems where you're looking at lakes and rivers and reservoirs that are often natural infrastructure, and there's problems there, problems everywhere. But fortunately, we have 10 individuals here that are tackling it. Karen, you operate in a different space than a lot of these other ones. Tell us a bit about your personal background and how you got to where you are now, and then we'll jump into the company.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me here. I have been very actively taking notes as well about different work that everyone's doing. It's really inspiring. And also I can see some assistance that I need in my company that can be helped here. So my name is Karen Schuett. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Livestock Water Recycling. John, you don't have to ask what that means. It's pretty clear. We recycle livestock waste. I'm calling in today from beautiful Calgary, Canada, and my background and degree is in zoology. I began my career in environmental services in the oil and gas industry, the big industry here in Calgary, and worked for years with my co-founder treating hydrocarbon contaminated groundwater. Basically, we were looking at gas, jet fuel, diesel, underground, at gas stations, rail yards, and airports. So if you're passing through JFK, we cleaned that tarmac for you. So please enjoy. After working on that for about 15 years, we started actively working on a platform to treat wastewater in agriculture, because we saw, the need to diversify our business and also looking at agriculture as the largest user of fresh water on the planet. So keeping in, cleaning water for our planet, we really wanted to tackle the biggest problem we could. So we took agriculture.
And so the company's IP is in separation, filtration, purification. What exactly engineering principles are you leveraging to accomplish this?
That's a good question. Manure as a wastewater is a very difficult, I would say one of the most difficult things we have looked at treating. I'm going to just nod to Julie about PFAS. That's on a different level as well, but manure is very difficult to treat. We are scaling an on-farm technology platform that relies on mechanical, chemical IP, as well as sensor data, in real-time data, to eliminate the problems we have associated with livestock waste, meaning manure, and really taking that and creating a value proposition around natural fertilizers, feedstock for renewable natural gas, and then clean water. So more around separation, particle separation, rather than elimination of any contaminants. We want to actually collect and restore all the manure nutrients that are so valuable to agriculture and what we need on our croplands. We want to get it back into the farm soil.
And so you've scaled this company. I think on this discussion, I think you started this maybe 8 or 9 years, maybe 10 years ago. You've accomplished a lot. And I know your sales are nearing 10 million Canadian or maybe higher than that now. So you've done really well. Tell me a little bit about your customers. Are they smaller farms, bigger farms, or how have you built such a successful company? What's the profile of the customer?
Thank you. I like being called the successful company. I appreciate that. Yeah, we've had some really good success over the past couple of years. We built slowly. We tried to grow organically, farm by farm. But now things are taking off, and we're growing together now with larger corporates, larger groups that are buying multiple units, multi-unit deals. And that's based on improving our value proposition to the buyers, getting involved in renewable natural gas, feedstock into areas that can take manure and make real value for the farms for what our feedstock is. So there's a real need for this feedstock to create energy. We look at farms now as energy producers. So it's completely taken a 180 from where we were looking at, cleaning water on farms and making a more livable farm environment, to creating real money for farmers to progress their businesses forward. So yeah, that has changed the value proposition and changed our trajectory completely.
I'm just mindful of time. We're going to go beyond the top of the hour. I know everybody organizes their life in 60-minute blocks, but for this discussion, we're going to go beyond the top of the hour. So if there's anybody out there who unfortunately has to move on to other stuff, this is being recorded and you can watch. We've got Macarena coming up after this, and so we don't want people to miss that. But please stick around. Karen, what's next for you in the next couple of years? What can everybody expect from you?
This is our scaling period. So we are really massively growing our revenue. We're going to be doubling our revenue in the next year. We're also doubling our team size. Our team size is gender balanced, and we want to maintain that. So please apply, get in touch with us. Look on our website. We're hiring lots of team members in various areas. We're raising some money this year, so we're going to tackle that statistic that women-founded companies are raising very little money. We're going to raise a lot of money, so that's important. And then we're going to grow internationally. We have lots of growth that we've already started. We work in North America mainly and are installed in 11 states. We're going to grow that out, but we're also growing outside using distributor connections and partners further into the EU and into Asia as well.
And just one final question. On the monitoring of the livestock waste, do you have your own IoT and data science technologies to monitor this? How do you understand what's coming through and what's available? Just briefly.
Yeah, good question. I'm looking at some people here to help me with I got some nitrogen issues I need help with, but we do have on farm sensors on our technology platform throughout. We have sensors that are recording influent and effluent on the water. So we do record and model based on what we have in real time, but not everything that we're looking at on farm can be exactly detected in real time, as all of you sensor people know. So we're working on developing that through partnerships. The sensors that we have in-house, we have developed ourselves, and we have developed all the analytics and we have computer programmers working all around the clock on that to develop our analytics platform. We sell that on a monthly subscription basis to our clients so that they can really watch their carbon footprint. That's a really important one. They can get carbon credits on the farms as well. And we are this year applying for the Elon Musk's carbon initiative, the Carbon X Prize. So that'll be another one we have under the win category this year, hopefully.
Awesome. Thanks, Karen. Wow, we've come so far over the last hour, from Amanda all the way to Karen and Abby. I think we have one left, right?
We do. Last but definitely not least is Macarena. Tell us about yourself. Oh, you're still on mute.
I'm sorry.
That's
So
okay.
I'm Macarena Cataldo. I'm a chemical engineer. I grew up in Chile, in Valparaiso, and I know in first person the water problems because the north part of Chile is getting dry. So I noticed that it was important for me. So I decided to dedicate my life to develop new water treatment technologies. And then I moved from Chile to Italy, and I did my PhD in Turin. A very beautiful city to go, amazing place and amazing people. And then I decided to move to Canada, and Canada now is my second home. And so I have been here for the last years, working on water treatment, developing technologies. And to talk a little more about myself, I care about water because I care about human rights too. So I'm a member of a co-op radio in Vancouver that is an independent radio station. And in my free time to understand better about me, I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I'm a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I do have my little dog too, that is right there. If you can see it, like sleeping a little bit.
I love all these dog mums.
So
mine's chatty, she's gone to daycare.
So yes, hopefully he's not going to bark, but these dogs tend to bark right in the
wrong moment.
So, yeah, we started with this research 2 years ago, and we decided to solve the microplastic problem because it's a huge problem that we don't really understand very well right now, but we know that it's going to be bad for our health and for the planet.
Oh, absolutely. It's again yet another vital issue that we need to solve. So tell me, how are you looking to solve it? What's your solution?
So I have been doing electrochemistry for a long time, and I'm so happy that a lot of people here in this panel is taking this field and developing technologies in this field, because I think that are very green and a good option for water treatment. But the problem with electroxidation in general is like the process in the way that is engineered. It's you cannot work in a continuous flow if you are doing oxidation. You have to have a reservoir, or you have to have a tank to recirculate the water and then treat it. So that makes the process very difficult for a continuous flow, like water going out to the drain or a big process of water treatment, because you have to storage water. So let's say if you want to use electrooxidation for a water treatment in your house, if you don't have the space to do it, you cannot do it. It's like we said, okay, we know that electrochemistry is a good option, but how we can do this in a way that it has a small footprint and can work in continuous flow. So we developed a technology that allows us to do that, and in a way that we are re-engineering the cell design, and we are re-engineering the configuration. So we were able to reduce the space and create a kind of system that we call regenerative filter, because we can kind of remove pollutants, suspended solid pollutants, but at the same time, the system is always cleaning itself. So you don't have to replace any cartridge, you don't have to worry about. This can be connected to washing machines. One of the applications is for removing microplastic from washing machines. So you can connect it to the washing machines, and then the water, you remove the microplastics, and the water can go just directly to the drain, the clean water. So yeah, we are having fun with that. And in the future, we started with this aftermarket product, but we want to have this product inside the washing machines in the future.
I often get this question asked to me. Do you believe that the consumer is aware of the world's water issues? And in what you are trying to solve, do you think that they know there is even a problem there?
Honestly, I don't think so. I mean, there is a small market for that. I think that the most important market, it's the new market that is coming in the next 2 years with the new regulation. So in France, they already approved a law that is going to constrain all the washing machine manufacturers to incorporate filters in their washing machine to prevent microfiber contamination. And all the European Union is going to vote about what they are going to do this year. The trend is that they are going to follow France, because when some country decide to move ahead with regulations in Europe, the other ones follow. In California, they already approved other law about microfiber filtration in washing machines that are going to start to be enforced in 2024. So the first market is for us to kind of establish our brand and prove our technology, and with an aftermarket product. As well, we have a lot of people who is asking us, please, when is going to be this product ready? Because they are conscious about the damage of microplastic in the environment. But we are looking for the big market that is OEM and washing machine manufacturers.
It's often the case that you need those early adopters to start pushing regulation, to start making change. And like I keep saying, going back to the education side of the consumer, but what can we be doing there to help empower more individuals to understand what's going on with their water quality, what's going on with their appliances within their house. So it's really quite, it's a day-to-day issue that the average Joe Blogs doesn't even know is there. So that's really great. And so what's next, I suppose, for you is proving the tech,
so
to grow that.
We have been raising our pre-seed round, and it's going very well. So we got more people in the team, more engineers. we like engineers in the team. And
we love them.
We love engineers.
The smart ones.
Yeah, so we are getting more people in the team, business people too. And as we re-engineer electrochemical process, it's working well, but we still have to tune some stuff. And we want to have the ability to quantify the amount of microfibers that we are removing to. So we incorporate into system sensor for doing that. So we have to, so the next months, probably during April, we are going to be operating our first pilot at UBC. So we see how the technology is working, and we designed it in a way that you can really see what is going on inside. So it's
congratulations,
very cool, and I'm going to hopefully make a very big press release, because I've been waiting for this moment for a while. Like I have the product ready for the market, not for the market, but at least the pilot ready, and a very high fidelity prototype to show that the technology is working well.
Thanks, Maca. You wrote Maca on here. Do you go by Macarena or Maca?
I work for Maca because so
I love that.
To avoid the song part. So
is there a song? I don't know about that song.
I have to confess, that's how I practiced your name. I did.
Well, thanks to all of our 10 featured entrepreneurs. I mean, it's so hard to start something from scratch. I always say pulling rabbits out of hats, because you're just creating something out of nothing. And all 10 of you could easily land a senior role in some large corporate or some research institution, which is also a very noble pursuit. But hats off to you guys for just waking up every day passionate about fixing something and leading your teams. And it's just so hard, because you just get so many people and you get investors saying pass. I mean, it's really hard in our role to like pass on things, because of course it works and we respect the entrepreneurship, but it's just, it's tough to see the vision of every single one of you. So I just wanted to give a shout out to all of you. You're incredible. And as I mentioned in my note in the chat thing, we had to narrow this down from 60 to 10 of you. And Abby and I, we got some feedback from some people that's like, why these 10? You're missing so-and-so, or this person hasn't done anything yet, and that person has done anything yet. It was really kind of scary for us to pick this list. But after 60 minutes to 70 minutes into this, it's just so inspiring. And Abby, what is H2O's Global News? What is your editorial angle? You're new to water as a media brand, and you're publisher and editor-in-chief. What are you trying to accomplish, and what do you want to offer your audience?
So like many in this room, started in oil and gas. So I've had experience in publishing before. And I moved over to what I like to say, the good side, and have been so embraced with such passionate people all around the world. And I think that's the common theme with everything here is the excitement, the passion, the growth. But for us at H2O, from an editorial point of view, I know a lot of people are saying here, we have this press release, which is ready. We want to press the button. That's what we want to hear. We want to be that support network for companies like yours and any attendees which are on here to share their fantastic news, to talk about their technologies, to share their case studies and what they are doing to have a real impact, not only on the doorstep, but the global water crisis as a whole.
Abby, a question for you. Are you the only media brand founded by, focused on water and wastewater, founded by a woman?
I believe so, yes. Mainly all, it's very male dominated in the publishing industry, but what I do like to see is many female leaders in the marketing and PR side. Tend to have a lot of the supporting roles in this industry being female led, but on the publishing side, yes.
And this month's feature story is about women in the water business, correct?
It is. These wonderful women here on this screen, they have actually answered a Q&A prior to this to give their points of view and also what they feel is necessary for the next steps for women in water as well, in the business of water.
Just to wrap things up here, because we still have a few people on, I wanted to quickly just go around and lightning round 1 or 2 sentences about what your company does. And I'm just going to call on you and just please try to keep it short and sweet. Amanda, just one final time, what do you guys do?
Yeah, so we automate the condition assessment of sewer pipes so that water utilities can basically do more with their budget.
Jennifer?
We are addressing water inequities in Central Valley, California, and other marginalized communities around the globe.
Paige, you never know who I'm coming to next. You better be ready.
We're developing an end of pipe decentralized high rate wastewater system to eliminate sewer overflows and basement backups during intense storms and engage operators and other stakeholders in the process.
Cool. Julie?
We develop and deploy proprietary electrochemical water treatment systems to destroy PFAS for concentrated, for people who are managing concentrated streams.
I know.
We apply artificial intelligence to help water utility companies be more efficient and resilient.
Erica.
We focus on early detection of invasive, endangered, any species of interest to help mitigate downstream problems and also inform management decisions for water rights holders.
Karen.
LWR is eliminating manure waste issues worldwide by scaling an on-farm technology platform to convert that waste into natural fertilizers, biogas feedstock, and clean water.
Awesome. One-liners. I like it. Maka?
So at PDDs, we develop an electrochemical technology to capture and destroy microplastic coming from washing machines.
That's a very concise one. Carol, and then we're coming to you, Mina, to bring us home. Carol?
Okay, so microorganic technologies. Sorry, I just, that's let me try it once more with feeling. We manufacture modular systems for secondary wastewater treatment that reduces energy use by 85 to 90%, generates clean DC power in addition, and provides real-time data on what's happening in the system.
Nina.
H2O provides real-time water quality intelligence, so you have insights anytime, anywhere at your fingertips.
That was a great one-liner. Abby, H2O Global News, what's your one-liner?
He likes putting me on the spot today.
I always do. What's your one-liner?
Global H2O Global News, sharing the world of water with people that want to inspire others to make a change.
Mm-hmm. Mazarine's one-liner is, we believe in founders before the world believes in them.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, or knows about them and then believes in them. So we like to back people who have some sort of vision for the future. In fact, we joke about it internally. We like to invest in time travelers, which sounds weird, but who have been to the future. Let's see, been to 2027, 2028, Julie, and everybody's destroying PFAS. And now you're back in 2022 and say, this is where everything's going. So you might as well invest today. So I know it sounds like a funny metaphor, but the ability to go to the future and then come back and convince people, customers, investors, that you see something that other people are not seeing. It's an inflection that is lost on most people, potentially even the big corporates. But you have that rock in the slingshot and you see it. And that's just like our Mazarine's sort of mission, is to find those people that have that insight, see what other people don't see, and participate in that growth story. Well, that brings us to the end of today's discussion. I wish we had more time, because you get to the end of this, you really get rolling. But I hope one of the outcomes is that all of you can find opportunities to connect and trade leads and customers, and consider yourselves the 2022 cohort of H2O Global News is Women in Water. And this will be an annual event. So if anybody has any questions or needs the email to anybody on this call, please feel free to reach out to me. Thanks for participating, and happy International Women's Day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.